Webster, 9 o'clock, and I'm excited because I got a guest in studio. I'm going to kick this on the FM. If you're watching, let me know where you're watching from. Feel free to share this out, like this video, and let me know what you got going on today. Here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio.com 99.5 FM. It's Kickstart. My name is Gardy. Right now it is 9:18 on a Wednesday, and I have a guest in studio. I'm going to let him introduce himself and then share what he has going on. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Thank you guys so much for having me. Thank you, Gardy, for having me. Super excited about being here, about this opportunity. My name is Marvin Rutley. I am a personal trainer here located in Webster, Texas, out of Steelworx Gym and Training Center. I am, like I said, I'm a personal trainer. I'm also a HIT boxing instructor, and I'm also just recently got into the podcast game. Just started my podcast. It's called iAm. The goal of the podcast is essentially to take the words that we use and to go by the definition of the word and not actually the word itself. And the goal is to encourage people to be more intentional about the things that we're saying and not just, not somebody just coming to me and saying, hey, I want to be healthy. Have an idea of what it means when you say you want to be healthy. Define healthy to me so that now once we start this journey of getting you healthy, we know exactly what we're doing and not just per se just going by that word because everybody wants to get healthy. Because getting healthy is not getting into a dress that you can't fit in anymore. It's not getting back to your high school weight or anything like that. There's an actual mental and a physical and a spiritual component of being healthy, and people have to realize that. So a lot of things that I'm doing right now, like I said, are in an effort to encourage people, to help people, to build people. Again, this opportunity here is to let people, know who I am, what it is I'm doing. So again, I'm very thankful for Gardy and KHEA for having me here today.
I'm excited that you're here. When I think of I think of the Bible with the burning bush.
Yes.
And he says, well, who do I say told me this? Who sent me? He said, I am. And it's like, okay, interesting. And I always thought, like, it doesn't make sense. But the more I've thought about it and I've heard, ministers and people speak about it, it's like, I am like the answer to what you need. Like, I am everything. And I am, it can mean something different to everybody. It probably meant something to Moses, told it to Pharaoh, and anybody else, and means something different to them.
Exactly. I think the cool part about that particular story, I'm glad you mentioned that, is because when I started the whole idea of the I Am podcast, that's where I drew kind of my inspiration from. And for that exact reason, because in that particular moment in the Bible and, when that moment happened, I felt like what God was doing was he was kind of having this twofold effect kind of going on at the same time, because it was what he was saying to Moses is, hey, I am very universal and I'm very personal, because it's like you just said, I can be everything. I am this, I'm that, I'm this mic right now, I'm this chair that's holding you up, I'm everything, I'm the air that you breathe, I'm the clothes that you wear. But I can also be Gardy, I can be Marvin, I can be the listener that's listening to this segment right now. So I can be as universal as you need me to be, and I can be as personal as you need me to be. And the more you realize that concept, I read this book once called The Universal Christ. It's an awesome book. And the concept of that book is the author is saying that once we get to a point that we realize that God is everything, that Christ is everything, then in a sense we live better, because Christ is love. So even with things that bother me or people that I may like, situations that I may like, if I truly believe that God or Christ or I am is everything, then even in the worst situations, I can draw inspiration from it, because at the end of the day, I know that God still loves them. God created them. God created the situation. So, if he can love them, then so can I. So that's exactly why, I created that concept. Yeah, it's just because let God be universal, but let him also be personal. And once again, find the balance in that. And once you find that balance, I mean, almost anything is possible, because now you look at it from that aspect to see him in everything.
Okay. Can we talk about what LIFT stands for? Then I want to talk about your background history and how you ended up over here. So what's LIFT stand for?
So LIFT is an acronym for Learn, Invest, Focus, and Train. The name of my fitness brand is iAmLIFT Fitness. And so the idea behind that was to encourage my clients and the people that I have the opportunity to work with. Obviously, when we think of lifting, we generally think of lifting weights and pushing iron and things of that nature. So it's kind of I took that play on words to say, yes, I'm a trainer, and yes, I'm a hit boxing instructor, and I'm all those things, and yes, we're gonna lift weights, and we're gonna push, and we're gonna do all that. But the concept of lift, as in learning, investing, focusing, training, is not something that I only want you to understand and use here in the gym, but I want you to use it in every other aspect of your life. I want you to use it in your career. I want you to use it with your kids. I want you to use it in school. I want you to, anything that is important to you, anything that you want to grow, anything that you want to be stronger, you're going to have to learn about it. You're going to have to invest in it. You're going to have to focus on it, and you're going to have to train at it. You're going to have to do it over and over and over. Repetition is the father of learning. So, I think we are in a very kind of society now where we expect things to happen so fast. We expect growth and strength to happen kind of overnight, so we don't want to learn about it. We definitely don't want to invest in it. It's hard for us to focus on it because of all the many distractions that are going on, which discourages us then from training at it, because it's like, well, then what's the point? So my belief is that if you will take a step back and just enjoy the process of the process. Enjoy the process of the effort that it takes for you to create and manifest this thing, that whatever it is you want to do, then learn about it, invest in it, focus on it, train it, and don't worry about the time. The time takes care of itself. You know what I mean? But, like I said, I think we get so caught up in the right now things that we forget that the journey itself is the most beautiful aspect of it, because that's where you're going to draw your memories from. That's where you're going to draw your strength from, because you're going to say, you know what? I put in the effort. I put in the time. I put in, I did the uncomfortable thing to get this level of success or this level of growth.
Yeah, people want it now.
Right
now. Myself included.
Me too.
It's like, you see the thing and it's like, oh, I can get that now. I'm going to order it on Amazon. I want to go to the gym and I want to look like that after, a week, maybe a couple sessions, right?
Right.
Because whenever you say invest, that right there, it means like, okay, that's going to take some time.
Exactly. But you know what? So when I first started the podcast, I just recently started. So the first couple segments was me actually going through and breaking down the LIFT acronym, and the second episode is called I Am Investing, and I talk about that because I talk about the fact that even, most of the time we think about investing, we all think about money, and it's easy to think about investment in the terms of money because we all naturally value money, because to us as people, money means advancement. It means more things. It means more opportunities. But anybody who's truly into investing and truly into finances will tell you that almost anytime you hear anything that is get rich quick or too fast, they are 10 times out of 10 going to tell you to stay away from it, because the way for real maturity, real financial maturity, real investment maturity is the long game. It's to play the long game, is to get into it and watch it grow and watch it become this. So that's investment in anything, though. The same thing, like you said, people come to the gym and after 3 or 4 sessions, it's like, all right, where are these muscles?
Yeah.
Right. I haven't lost the 50 pounds yet. What's going on?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, it don't work like that. You know what I mean?
Something else that's interesting, whenever it comes to investing, a lot of times people will say you need to diversify. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, And then also with the spirit, mind, and body, whenever you're talking about investing in your body, invest in your mind, everything else, that's also important to diversify. You're investing in yourself. It's not just all your body, right?
Exactly. And when you say diversify, you got to understand that investment, when you're diversifying, is not just for you. Like the investment for me to take care of myself is not just for me, because the better I am, the stronger I am, the more I have, then it's going to make provisions for the people that I'm going to naturally influence. And we're all going to naturally influence somebody, whether it be your spouse, whether it be your children, maybe a trainer, maybe it's your client, maybe you're a manager, maybe it's your staff, whoever it is. Maybe you are the employee, maybe it's the other people you work with. You need to invest in yourself for the benefit of the people around you as well. It's not, like you said, it's not just about you. And again, like let's take one aspect of investment. Say it is just the health aspect or just the gym. Well, what the gym is going to do is going to help me with the idea of resistance. Because when you're in the gym, what are you doing? You're pushing against a resistance. Something is, this weight is heavy and I got to push it, and I have to be in control of that resistance, because if I'm not in control of this 50-pound dumbbell and I'm just flinging it around, it could hurt me.
Somebody else too.
It could hurt me or somebody else. But the more I have control of it, the more I say, you know what, take a deep breath. I'm in control of this. I'm going to handle this resistance. Then you grow from that. Same thing, especially outside of the gym, because the resistance that come outside of the gym generally aren't things that can per se physically hurt us. Like, it's not a 50-pound dumbbell, it's not a 300-pound back squat, but it may be having to deal with some type of grief, or having to deal with the loss of a job, or maybe your kids are acting up or in school or something. And that's a resistance that, again, may not necessarily hurt you physically, but it damages people mentally, and it damages their soul, because they don't know how to deal with that level of control, that level of resistance, because they don't practice that. They don't practice any. They're not put in a situation where they have to practice handling resistance, and that's why I love working out, because it's not so much about me putting on all this muscle than the concept of me learning how to control resistance, how to be in control, so that when I do step outside in the world and I'm facing these other types of challenges and resistances, you know what, I can say, you know what, take a deep breath. I'm in control. This thing is not going to overpower me. I'm going to overpower it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And it also allows you to get uncomfortable. It's not comfortable whatever you're trying to push up those dumbbells and the trainer or somebody else says, okay, let's do it again.
Right.
It's like, I gave all I got.
Right.
Exactly. And maybe you realized, hey, I really did have one more, or I'm getting stronger, I'm getting better. Right. And that leads to those victories.
Exactly.
And then you can also apply that to other places in life, uncomfortable situations where, hey, you don't want to be there, but that's just, what life handed you right there. And then you can push through and get that victory.
You know what's funny? Like, I know you asked me, you were saying earlier, we kind of talked a little bit about myself. I'm going to throw a little bit about myself in real quick, because before I was a trainer and before I got into this industry, I was in hospitality, and I managed a restaurant. And at the time, I knew that I wanted to do something different. I knew that I felt like I had a bigger purpose, and I prayed about it, and I was like, okay, what is it I want to do? And I knew that I wanted to help people. I knew I wanted to help grow people and help grow the way they think and the things they did. But I didn't know exactly how to manifest that. So after I prayed, and after, I talked to God about it, then that's where the desire to become a trainer, become a group fitness instructor came into mind. But what was stopping me was that meant I was going to have to quit my job. That meant I was going to have to start over. That means I'm from Alabama, where I don't know anybody in Houston, Texas. I have no family or friends for 9 hours. And so I'm going to leave a job where I have benefits, where I started that company as a busser. Started out bussing tables, and it got me to Houston, Texas as a senior level manager. And I told my mom, I'm thinking about leaving my job. She's like, you're gonna do what? You're gonna do what?
Yeah.
Why? I'm like, well, I want to be a trainer. I want to get into personal training. I want to, I enjoy helping people. That's what made me successful in the hospitality industry. Not because I could cook, because I am. You don't want me cooking your food. But I was successful because I really had a genuine desire to help people. When people came into the restaurant, I had a genuine desire for them to have a welcoming experience. Like, that was a goal of mine, that this person's going to come in here to get something to eat, but they're going to leave out of here with this experience of just, man, I felt like I was at home. I felt like I was taken care of. So when I decided to leave, that was the thing. It was like, okay, I'm going to have to be very uncomfortable for a while. I'm not going to be able to go out. I'm not going to be able to spend. I'm not a great saver. I have to learn how to save. I have to do all these things that bring me this discomfort. But that's why I love working out. I love the idea of working out, because I love how you can almost apply it to, it's an analogy you can almost use in any aspect of life, because you're absolutely right. For me to be a trainer, for me to start a business, for me to start a brand, I'm still having to do a lot of things that make me very uncomfortable, like things that I, didn't plan on doing before. But as what I'm learning, and the concept that I'm also trying to push to the people that I get the opportunity to help, is that once you accept that level of discomfort, there's a at a certain point, it's not as uncomfortable anymore because you've learned about it, you've invested in it, you focused on it, and I trained at it. So when it was day one, when I had first left my job, and I was like, okay, I have no idea what the next step is. Like, does anybody want to train? Like, somebody raise their hand. Y'all got nothing to do. If you want to train, hit me up. And to now, where I have consistent clients, and I have people that have made some amazing transformations and just really changed their lives. I'm so thankful that I was willing to be uncomfortable. You know what I mean? And again, in the moment, it don't really feel like that because it's like, yeah, this is a bad idea. This is a bad idea. About a month in, I was like, okay, I don't know. Hey, you guys y'all still need managers? You know
the busser position still open. I work my way back up. You know,
right, I'll try again. But no, yeah, it's so much beauty in discomfort. Like, it's so much beauty in struggle. And you know, on my brand, the T in training is the actual cross. And so many people will say, Jesus, right? And yes, but more of the concept of what the cross represented, because what the cross represented was struggle. It represented that for something beautiful to manifest, for the world to change, literally, there had to be this tremendous struggle. Like, this man had to go through this real life death. I mean, the struggle ended in his death. And God, well, thankfully he's God, so he was able to circumvent and come back from that death. But that's why I made that T across. And kind of it's personal too, because I wanted to be reminded of that. Like, because as an entrepreneur, as a man in this world, it's hard sometimes just to know if you're doing the right things or if you're making the right steps or if it's the right decision. And you struggle with it. We're going to struggle. It's a natural aspect of life is to struggle. But I look at this cross and it reminds me that any struggle, and if you really will struggle through it and you'll be uncomfortable through it, and there's some beauty that can really come out of that thing. There's a real, success that can be brought and felt, but you got to grow through it. You got to struggle through it a little bit. And so, that the gym and the idea, concept of working out, I feel like it's, like, again, one of the best platforms to push that message because, yeah, I want you to do it and I want you to physically grow, but I need you mentally and spiritually growing as well, because that's where, nowadays where a lot of people are really struggling, whether they realize it or not. And so as to where I'm not so concerned about everybody out here. I mean, yeah, I want people to be in shape, but I can't get you in shape if I can't make you feel the need to why you need to take care of yourself. It don't matter if I get you in the gym. I need you to understand why we're here. You know what I mean?
Do people need a why to start usually? You'll see sometimes if someone goes through a breakup or there's a change in their life, something happens and it kind of sparks that, I'm going to do this. And, maybe sometimes people don't. They just have that habit or they learned it from somewhere else. But in your experience,
I think it's both. I don't think, I think the first why should be just because it's necessary. That it's necessary to take care of yourself. And working out and taking care of yourself is different for all of us. You don't have to do what I do. You don't have to be in the gym 6 days a week and teach boxing and all that. That's not that doesn't okay, well, that means he's healthy and I only work out twice a week and I'm not. No. Find what works best for you. Again, it's not so much about I think what a lot of people, when they think about working out, they think of the imagery of it. You got to get on Instagram and Facebook and all that, and we see all this imagery as pertaining to working out, because you got to look this way and you got to wear these certain clothing and this tights and whatever. No, the why should be, again, at the end of the day, the better I am for period, physically, mentally, and emotionally, then every other aspect of my life will benefit because of that. That should be the why. The why isn't, and it's okay if your why came because, from heartache, I broke up with somebody and, okay, I need to get in the gym.
I want to look good.
I want to look good.
Right.
Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But the end of the day, the most important why, because if your why is, I'm doing this for myself and for the benefit of my physical, spiritual, and mental health, then it'll take care of all. Like you'll look good in the process, because you can't not if you're doing it all the time. If you're in the gym all the time, you can't help but look a certain way. You're gonna look like what you always do. That's just, I tell my clients that all the time. In a sense, you got to look at it like you're always exercising, because your body's always in a learning state. It's always whatever it constantly you show it. If I go home and get off work at 5 o'clock every day, put me a bag of popcorn in the microwave, get on the couch, watch Netflix, get into bed, and get up the next day and do that process all over again, that in a sense, that's an exercise, whether we want to accept that or not. But that's still a habit that we do and that we perform all over. So you're going to look like somebody who gets off work, pops a bag of popcorn, gets on the couch, watches Netflix, and goes to bed and does it. Like that's not a knock against anybody, but that's your reality. So the reality of the situation is that's what you're going to be like, as opposed to maybe do that twice a week, and then 3 times a week, go to the gym, go walk, do something. Like be active, find your active, and that's why I enjoy what I do, because I get to find what do you like to do. You want to box? Cool, let's box. You want to lift weights? Cool, let's lift weights. You enjoy more HIIT style workouts? Cool. There's not a right or wrong when it comes to necessarily taking care of yourself. Find out what you enjoy. Put some enjoyment behind it. You know what I mean? Because it can feel grueling. It is uncomfortable, but again, it's a beneficial uncomfortable. It's almost like again, I don't have any kids, and I'm obviously having that, but I would assume, from a woman's aspect, giving birth to a child probably is not a comfortable circumstance.
Right,
I would think.
I have 3 kids. Me and my wife have 3 kids.
Okay,
so she told me. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay. She filled you in. I've heard it's not a comfortable situation to be in at that time. But the beauty that comes out of that, the life, this human, this person, this personality, this person that you get to watch blossom and become, whatever it is that they become, was worth that struggle, was worth that discomfort.
To do it all again. And do it all again.
Exactly.
And have more kids.
Exactly. To go back and after that and have another one and have another one, you get to see that one of them, that concept of birth is a beautiful representation of why struggle sometimes is necessary. You have to struggle. You got to be uncomfortable sometimes, but it's for not only your benefit, but for the benefit of that child, because that child needs you to go through that for them. And sometimes in life, that's what it is for us. We need to be uncomfortable for other people. I need to be healthy. I need to take care of myself, because one day I'm going to be a father. I plan on it. One day I'm going to be a husband. Right now I am a trainer. Right now I am a son. Right now I am a friend. Right now I am, so I have to have a certain level of strength, physically, mentally, and emotionally, to be able to perform in all aspects. You know what I mean? Because if my girl needs me to get down and pray for her, I need to be able to get down and pray for her. But if somebody's about to run up on her and, trying to take a purse or something, I need to be able to defend as well. You know what I mean? So I want to always be exercising my strength in all aspects, because sometimes it's going to require me to use the muscle that I have, and sometimes it's going to require me to use my mind or use my voice or use my words. But there has
or just size. Just be there and be like, hey, and he's like, oh, never mind. I'm gonna move down the street.
Not that. Oh, not him.
He's not the
guy.
one. Yeah.
I don't want to smoke with that guy.
Yeah. Go down the street.
So, but it helps because I've been in the gym. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is KHEARadio.com, 99.5 FM. I am talking to Marvin Rutley with iAmLIFT Fitness. If you're watching on social media, thank you. You can feel free to share this out. You can also ask some questions.
Please.
I wanted to ask you, because you came from management. You came from hospitality, and then you made that shift, personal training, fitness. What was the biggest difference, if it came as a surprise or as a shock, that maybe you didn't see going from that, going from hospitality management, going into like, hey, I'm doing this different? Is there something that caught you off guard?
I want to say necessarily caught me off guard. I will say that, it's easy. Okay, so the company that I work for was super systematic, very and that's one thing I appreciated about them. Like, you came in, there was a plan for everything.
They had
like,
a book.
Okay,
the manual.
There was a manual. Literally, the fork should be 4 inches from the spoon, and like, I mean, my area director would come in and he would be like, "Hey, why is this table, not under, why isn't that light hitting this table, right in the middle?" I'm like, how in the world do you even know that? Like, I would have never, but I mean, that's how systematic it was. Everything had a place. There was a rhyme and a reason why everything happened. So to go from that to where now you plug me in as the manager, I have to have a certain personality and whatnot. But for the most part, if I just follow the plan, then there's a solution as to how I should remedy each situation. And there's always, especially as a manager, you're putting out fires from the moment you walk in, from the moment you get out. But again, what helped was there was a systematic way of approaching that, and I had other managers that I was working with. I had a staff of about 100 plus, waiters and servers and bakery and the bartenders and the kitchen staff and the dishwasher. So it was like I had a lot of help. I could do a lot of delegating and pointing fingers and do this and do that. You get into entrepreneurship and it's you.
Yeah, where's the manual?
Where's the
for the specific?
Where's the blueprint? I
Right.
didn't. Wait a minute. I didn't think about how they were going to schedule. Well, I didn't think about what happens if they need to cancel. Well, I didn't think about what's going to happen if they didn't show up. And then again, you're also in this realm. You're dealing like with people coming in for the restaurant. They're people I may see them in that hour or two that I may never see them again in life. But now you're dealing with people personally. So now their energy, their lives, the things that matter to them, and that you got to think they're coming to you because there's an issue. People don't come to me just because they ain't got nothing to do. They're coming to me because in their perception of themselves, they have a why. I want to get into, this certain outfit, or I feel like I'm overweight, or I don't like the way I look, or I don't feel good about myself, or I want to work out. I have no idea what I'm doing. It's all these different whys, and you're kind of like the one soul in the middle, the one person in the middle that everybody's kind of evolving around you, and you're the one that has to be the decision maker. You're the one that has to be the voice of reason. Like, I can't really afford to come in and have an off day, because then my energy is transferred to them, and they have to perform. I'm going to ask a lot of them. I'm going to challenge them. So if I'm coming there, good morning, what's going on? All right, you got 10 of these and 10 of those. They're going to receive. Yeah. Their workout's going to go a lot like this. So I got to be the high-fiving, let's go. No matter what, sometimes what I may personally have going on in my life, I don't like to channel that energy to them. So I think that I don't say it's hard, but the most kind of just eye-opening thing was just how singular sometimes it feels to be an entrepreneur. Because to go from this large, huge corporation that's, we got restaurants all over the country, internationally, I got headquarters out in LA and all that type of thing, to go to now you're this singular person that is trying to create this brand, push this brand. You're trying to be the CEO. You're everything from the CEO to the janitor and everything in between. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm cleaning toilets, but I'm also, signing documents. You know what I mean? I'm
Marketing,
doing
photographer, videographer,
everything, man.
counselor, probably.
Right. And it's just, I didn't realize, all the hats that I was having to wear. And you know what that did? It made me uncomfortable. Because it was just one of those things that I was like, okay. I knew a lot of us will say the same thing. People come to the gym, they want to get healthy and they want to, change their lifestyle. And it's easy to want something, but I was getting my hair cut one day, and I was talking to this barber. Cool, like a really cool story. He was telling me about these two trees. He said there was a tree on one side, and the tree was barren, no leaves on it, just kind of just there. And on the other side of that tree was this fully ripe, fully blossomed green fruits tree. And so he was like, for the longest, he couldn't understand what that concept was. Like, he was having these images, these dreams, and it would just be these two trees. It'd be the barren tree and the full tree, the barren tree and the full tree. And so he said after a while, after praying and thinking about it, he said what he finally concluded that message meant was that's kind of how we see things. We see things as either I don't have it at all, or I need to have all of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm either barren or I either got it all. Nobody wants to go through the seasons, though. Nobody wants to talk about the fall, the spring, and the summer. Like, we either got to be straight winter or straight summer. Like, it's not just like that transition of the seasons is uncomfortable for us because okay, maybe I don't have any leaves on there. Well, now I got a few leaves, but I don't want a few leaves because that tree down there got a bunch of, you know what I mean? And the way I'm comparing myself now because now, I'm uncomfortable. Maybe I should just take all the few leaves I have off because I don't look like that one. And that's the issue with how a lot of us think. That's how I was thinking because you feel like you've been so successful in this one thing. You started off as a busser and you ended up in management and you're highly respected at your job and all this good stuff, all these pats on the back, and then you start your own brand and your own business, and you got one client. And it's like, maybe this is a bad idea. Maybe this is a terrible idea. But in that moment, I was thinking like that fully blossomed tree where I realized I got to go through some seasons. Maybe right now I am that barren tree. And now I'm not fully blossomed, but I got a lot more leaves than when I started. You know what I mean? And I'm thankful for that. So I can also, use that as encouragement to my clients because as you guys are learning and trying to go through this journey of your health, and I'm doing the same thing personally and physically as well. I have my own, things that I want to do physically with my body and with my business. That's my baby right now. That's the thing that I want to grow. So I got to struggle with it sometimes. I got to be uncomfortable with it. It feels very singular sometimes. But I know that this discomfort is going to benefit me and it's going to inevitably benefit you too.
Marvin, can you remind everybody all the services that you offer and how they can get a hold of you?
Yeah, so I offer personal training, HIT boxing group classes. I teach those 3 times a week at Steelworx Gym and Training Center located in Webster, Texas, 310 Genesis Boulevard, Webster, Texas. If you guys want to get a hold of me, you can visit my website. It's www.iamlift. That's iamlift.com. You can also follow me on Instagram. It's _iamlift_. Or you can also follow my personal page, which is my name, Marvin.Keonn, Keonn, which is my middle name. But yeah, please feel free to reach out, please ask questions. Please come try the HIT boxing is awesome because it's also virtual, so you don't have to necessarily come in studio. I know we're still kind of in this COVID era where everybody's not as comfortable coming out of the house, which I understand completely. But I also don't think that's an excuse not to be not active. And my goal is that with the HIT boxing that you're also if you can feel included, even if you feel not as comfortable coming out of the house. And they're fun. They're so much fun. Like I'm a very high energy, jumping off the walls, jumping off bags. I'm awesome. I'm that kind of guy. I'm that instructor. But it's just 'cause I have fun with it. And I feel, I want people to, I feel like if you get so wrapped up in having a good time, then you're gonna get a good workout. So I'm not so concerned about, the workout itself so how do you feel? How do you feel when you first get here? And then I want to know how you feel when you left. And on my bags, obviously I have my brand name on the bag. I have the iAmLIFT, but on the other side of the bag it just says I am. And that's a big part of the class for me too, because the people that in class who are taking it, I want them as they're hitting that bag and as they're going through the class to see that I am on that bag. And in that moment, be whatever it is you need to be. If you need to be strong, then think to yourself, I'm strong. If you need to be, confident, think, man, I'm confident. If you need to be, whatever it is, that I put that on that bag specifically so while people are taking my classes, that they're reminding themselves, you know what, I don't have to settle for feeling a certain type of way. I can come in this class and I can be everything I want to be. I can be as strong as I need to be. I can be as confident as I need to be. I can be all the above. And I hope they take that with them as soon as they leave. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Marvin, for hanging out today. I appreciate everything.
This is awesome, man. This is a blast, a real opportunity, a real blessing. So I'm thankful for you having me, for real.
This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM.